How do? Not the best light, guys. I'm in Graham's lounge, the garage, the boozer. A lot of people get hung up about the crisps. Oh yeah. Starting from next Wednesday over the Christmas period. Wednesday, Friday and Saturday I'll be putting out long content. Starting next week for 3 weeks. Take us up to the new year. Yeah, we'll be putting content out Christmas Day and New Year's Day. The content is there for people to go to if you get bored over Christmas. There'll be interviews. First one, young lad, he's been to prison a lot, done a lot of jail. He's got a lot to say. He hasn't done his jail easy. There's been drugs involved. No research on him, comes from a little Welsh town, my first Welsh guest. So I'm looking forward to meeting him and having a chat. Second one, Lee Marvin. I've already done the 20 questions. In the link to this video, in the description, sorry, I will put the link to Lee Marvin's 20 questions. He's a good lad, Marvin. Not the best start to life. Born in prison and then put up for adoption. That'll probably be 2 or 3 parts. Then the third interview, prison officer. We both did roughly a decade at Strangeways. He did 75 to 85. You know, back in the day, the old days, the dark days. He's a lot like me. 20 years after he left, I would do roughly a decade, 2.5 to 2.15. 20 years apart, a decade in Strangeways. That'll be interesting. Some good comparisons. I've said before, it's very easy to stand in the crowd and difficult to stand on your own. This lad definitely stood on his own. Really interesting guy, and he has got some stories. So Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, starting next week, and the following 2 weeks, that'll be long content. I will be doing some vlogs. I went out today to do a vlog with Stephen and I forgot to take my phone or camera. Basic error there, guys. Okay, so this is a vlog I promised last week. You know, a lot being said about children, teenagers who commit serious crime. For me, and I've seen it, up to 21 that is, so in prison, juvenile 16 to 18, young offenders 18 to 21. I work with young offenders and I have friends who work and I've worked with juveniles, which is a tough gig. You know, a lot of emotion. People want to call them children, that's fine. A lot of these children are assaultative and very violent. I'm not saying prison is the answer. However, that's all we've got at the minute. And yes, some of them have had dogged childhoods. Yeah. Again, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not discussing that. I'm just saying, if you've got someone who's violent, who's going to assault other children and worse, then you need to deal with it. And our system is not geared up. All we've got is prison, and prison is just good at keeping the public safe by keeping people locked up. So 2 lads I came across who were teenagers, as well as Lee Marvin, 20 questions, link in the description. I will put, if you want to know about these 2 lads, a link in the description. I'll tell you now, it was horrific what they did. So when I met these 2 lads, they were still teenagers. The eldest, very childlike. What do I mean by that? I would suggest, I don't know whether it's PC now, but you'll know what I mean, that he had learning difficulties and, you know, maybe coming onto the autism spectrum or whatever. Definitely something going on. That was really obvious. However, like I said, a crime horrific. His younger brother, very quiet. His younger brother was definitely the brains of operation. You know what I mean by that as well. His younger brother, although quiet, for me, was very sinister. You might find that strange, me talking about a teenager being sinister, but believe me, he was. So the eldest was a self-harmer. His self-harm was escalating. That lad could very, very much end up in the sort of forensic unit, mental health ward, hospital type scenario from prison. Just through his self-harming, he was starting to become troublesome and possibly would be managed in that scenario. Definitely, I would think he would serve longer than his sentence. The younger one, although the young one had his moments, I think the younger one, again, will keep his head down, or will have kept his head down, and quite possibly will be out. These are the sort of people that, when we say probation, supervised people, these people need monitoring, not supervising. Supervising in the community is nothing. You know, they turn up for an interview with probation, that's about as good as it gets. We have tags and the like, you know, modern technology. We should be able to keep track of people. Again, people going about human rights. Again, some of these people will go on to commit horrific crimes if not watched. It's about risk. It's like terrorism. Sadly, the last couple of years we've had people who were locked up for terrorism type charges who have come out of prison and committed acts of terrorism. You know, there's no O level, or more modern times GCSE in de-radicalisation. Again, it's a tough subject. Some of these people will always be a risk. Some of these children, some of these teenagers will always be a risk. I'm not saying that the childhoods have something to do with how they are, how they behave, how they become. But they will hurt people if we don't monitor them. I'm going to leave it there. Like I say, if you wanna see what these people are like, these teenagers, or what they did, link will be in the description. On a sentencing front, for me, young people, teenagers, anyone under 21, I would say the courts treat them differently to adults. For me, you know, if someone who's 19 murders someone, shoots someone, they should get the same sentence as someone who is 25 or 30 or 35. I don't think that happens. I've seen a lot of teenagers get lesser sentences. Yeah, in quite a few cases where children and teenagers have committed horrific crimes, they've been poorly managed and they've been an embarrassment, and their later crimes and behaviour have been covered up because of that embarrassment. If you're just going to put someone who commits an horrific crime, a child, in care, in normal care, then that in itself is wrong. But there's no specialist treatment, or if there is, it's very limited. Okay, hope you're having the best day possible. I ain't got round to answering comments on the last few videos, I've been quite busy. Take care. I'll see you.